Welcome back to the 24th episode of the Post Up Podcast. Now, usually this would have been the 23rd episode, but obviously due to the tragic news of Kobe Bryant's death, we're having our own jersey number change, and we'll skip 23 and go straight to 24. Now, if you hadn't heard the news, if you for some reason haven't heard the news, Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna, along with 7 other members on board a helicopter travelling to Gianna's basketball game, sadly crashed, killing everybody on board. Instead of taking normal structure that the podcast usually follows, we'll take this podcast to kind of look back through Kobe's career and highlight some of the defining moments he had in his long, illustrious career. Owen, how are you? And how do you feel after finding out this very sad news?
Yeah, well, recording this now is a couple of days after the event. I feel it's kind of sinking in, where for the first couple of days it was a mess. I kept on having to remind myself, damn, this actually happened. And it obviously didn't help when I spent all day watching Kobe highlights and just scrolling through Twitter or Instagram. You've seen videos of Kobe with his daughter, or everything was just so sad.
Yeah, it's I've taken it in now, but it's still not easy to talk about.
It doesn't feel real still to me.
No, yeah, it's weird. I don't like it, and
Yeah.
nor I should like it. But
yeah, it's like an uncomfortable feeling where someone who you felt was invincible has been taken away so early, and 8 other people as well, in such a bad crash.
yeah, so I feel like most people when they hear the news spent a lot of time just reliving Kobe's best moments, like the last game at the Staples Center, his last game of his career in the Staples Center, putting up 60, and his amazing 81-point game against Toronto. And yeah, that's why I sat down watching the highlights, eating ice cream. It was kind of like the stereotypical breakup. It only sunk in at the time when I was doing it. It was all very cliche what I was doing, but it felt right. It felt like I needed ice cream at that time. I feel like ice cream was a good thing for bad news.
Yeah, well, when it first broke, it was where we live, it was around 7:30 in the night.
Yeah.
So for the rest of that evening, I was just in shock. And when it came to nighttime, I couldn't sleep because, obviously,
Yeah, it was a difficult sleep.
So I didn't get to bed till about 5:30 in the morning. And I feel like for the whole night, my mind was just on that. And I feel like that's when it kind of hit me, this is real. This isn't some sort of sick joke. This actually happened. And I feel like when you heard the initial report of Kobe, it was bad. Then when you heard his daughter died and then 2 other 13-year-old girls died as well, that just compounded it, and it made it so much more heartbreaking.
Yeah, when the news first broke and it was suspected that Kobe was on board, he was just praying that please not Kobe. It was just not please hope it was somebody else, because that's a bit mean, but just please it isn't Kobe. And then when it was confirmed it was Kobe, it was just because there was news reporters reporting that all of his daughters were on board with him. I don't know where they got that sort of information from.
I feel like it's just people wanting to be the first to get news.
Yeah, they were horribly wrong.
And they would just throw in wherever to try to be right.
But then it was confirmed that Gianna was sadly on board, along with teammates of hers and family members of teammates. It's all very sad, and it's all very surreal.
I haven't seen a death of somebody affect so many people to this scale.
Because it's not just in a basketball sense. It's he was one of the greats. A lot of the players currently in the NBA either came up with him, the older ones came up and played with him and respected him because they always gave him a difficult game. Gallinari posted a couple of pictures of him and Kobe wrestling for the ball on multiple occasions, and he was I've never played against somebody that gives so much and is such a difficult game. And then there's the other aspect, which is he was so young at 41, still had a lot of life ahead of him, and he was a father to 4 little girls. So it's even the aspect of people who don't necessarily like basketball, but just see him as an excellent athlete, but they also, it's it's not 3 little girls and a wife without their dad.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like somebody. It wasn't just like the whole basketball fan base being upset. It was everybody, due to the fact that like he was such a family man.
And as you touched on with the NBA players, I wonder how many players are in the NBA that are only there because of Kobe's influence and just looking up to him. Because I remember Embiid said after his game, the only reason he ever picked up a basketball was because he watched Kobe in the NBA Finals, and he wanted to be Kobe. I'm sure players like Kyrie or Trae Young, they wanted to be Kobe in a way.
Yeah, but it's different for like Kyrie and that, because Kyrie maybe wanted to be like Kobe, but was also like a friend of Kobe. So
Kobe was his mentor.
Yeah, he kind of grew up like watching or like wanting to be like Kobe, and then like actually being his friend as well just makes it even harder. But like players like Kyle Kuzma, he put an Instagram post up of him when he was a child wearing, he wore the number 8 when he was like really young for Kobe, and he said he used to watch like highlight videos. He used to try and copy all Kobe's moves like when he would be in high school and in college. And like, so yeah, a lot of the players in this current NBA are playing basketball because of Kobe.
And as you mentioned, his influence and impact goes far beyond basketball as well, where you look at his family and how his Gianna is one of his second oldest daughter, how she was on her way to becoming a star basketball player herself. And I remember Matt Barnes used to play for the Clippers. He was saying when his son, it was his birthday, and Kobe organised their own private workout just to help them improve at basketball. And it is a common theme that Kobe was fantastic with the fans, and when you go to the NBA growing internationally, Kobe was at the forefront. Where worldwide, everyone knows Kobe. Like when you throw something in the bin, you yell Kobe or like anything. He's had such a big global impact, possibly larger than anyone ever in the NBA.
You could see as well how hard like this news hit some of the players, because obviously some players like I saw like Doncic and that posted pictures of like them with Kobe and them with Gianna like very quickly on social media. But like people like LeBron, Kyrie, Melo, Shaq. Well, Shaq did it pretty quickly, but like LeBron, Kyrie, Melo, CP3 all took a few days to like get their head around everything. And obviously Shaq spoke on NBA on TNT a few nights ago, talking about the whole situation, how he felt and how he's been doing recently, and it was all very sad to watch. Not an easy watch for anybody, not just basketball fans. But soon after the news, they put a reef up outside the Staples Center, which was due to host the Grammys that night. So it was all very busy night in LA when the news struck. A lot of fans gathered around. The Grammys actually very disappointingly asked people not to congregate outside the Staples Center, which was disgusting really, which was obviously very, very disrespectful, I feel. But obviously fans didn't listen to what the Grammys said.
Obviously, who would listen?
Yeah, they all turned up in their thousands, I would assume.
Including Quinn Cook.
Quinn Cook was there. I mean, he seemed very, very upset. There was a nice little tribute to Kobe, like you said, about the throwing rubbish in the bin. They had a little bin there, and it said, "You know what to do." People were throwing a lot of paper.
And what did they yell?
Kobe. A lot of them missed, ironically, since Kobe did miss the most amount of shots in NBA history. But some of them did go in, just like Kobe. Now, obviously, when the news broke around us, it was about, like you said, like 7:30 in the night? 7 o'clock at night?
Yeah, you can call it night.
In the night. Denver hosted Houston, and that tipped off an hour before the news broke. And
was it?
After the news broke, and you could see the two announcers for Denver on that game, which I don't remember who they were. They were obviously commentating the game, so they were sat courtside talking, and they were just pouring with tears, but still doing their job. And you could just see how much, like, these guys, a lot older than Kobe, they would have played in the NBA way after Kobe came in, but even the influence he had on older people, and they see how good of a player he was. And then just seeing, like, Austin Rivers.
So I didn't watch the game because I was just too busy watching Kobe highlights, but
Yeah.
I saw pictures of Austin Rivers, Tyson Chandler,
All the players were writing Kobe and Gianna on their shoes, which
so like before the game,
was
the
nice.
players crying. I saw Tyson Chandler sitting on the bench with tears.
Yeah,
So sad.
DeMar DeRozan like threw a towel over his head, and Pop was trying to. That was during the game as well.
I feel like they shouldn't have played those games, but it was too late to call that game off.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was a mixture of. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, should have they called the games off? But it was way too late to call off the Denver game. It was literally like the players were warming up as like the news broke. But it was kind of also like, would have Kobe wanted them to stop? It's like that Mamba mentality. Like,
Yeah, but I feel like with the Houston game, it was way too soon.
oh yeah.
But it was.
You could see playing the game that some of
They
those
just didn't
players
wanna play.
didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Obviously, players like we'll get into a bit later. Like Middleton dropped 51. Like Eric Gordon dropped 50. Dane dropped 50. A lot of players. Trajan and Devin Booker equaled leveled to like together they put up. What was it? 81. So it's like a lot of players did have good games, but I feel like that first night it was way too early for. Because I was like when Nipsey Hussle died and Russell Westbrook put up 20, 20 and 21, and like 20 was quite like they were
symbolic.
Yeah, they were kind of like symbolic to Nipsey Hussle and everything. It was like I could feel like somebody's gonna put in a performance like that, but it was just way too early for like the Houston players and to actually like bring up the fight within them after such tragic news. Now, we don't want to keep this podcast too somber and sad because he was one of the GOATs. He was probably, in my eyes, the best scorer of all time. Just putting the ball in the basket, he was the best of all time.
You could do it in many ways.
You could do it in many ways.
Yeah.
So, we feel like it'd be best to look through some of the defining moments in his career. I mean, there's only one place to start. As an 18-year-old, when he airballed the ball 4 times against Utah in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you could say, was the birth of the Mamba mentality, where
Definitely.
an 18-year-old kid in the playoffs, game 5, an elimination game, and he shot, well, he airballed 4 times, but the fact he was willing to take those shots, they did end up losing and get knocked out.
It wasn't just airballing 4 shots, it was he missed the game winner, so it went to overtime, and then he airballed the ball 3 times in overtime. That obviously could have won the game for them. But after that game, apparently, or not, obviously not apparently, after that game he went, all that summer he worked on his shooting and everything, and that is where the Mamba mentality was born. Really,
and it was typical Kobe, because I was watching something on ESPN, and they said the second the plane landed, he went straight to the gym, and he didn't get out until the summer was over. And since then, he's hit 14 game-winning shots, and he's become what he's known now as one of the most clutch players in NBA history. When you need a big bucket, there's one player to call on. Kobe.
LeBron James.
Kobe. Steph Curry.
Michael Jordan.
Isaiah Smith.
Legret Store. But then, so that was kind of the defining point of his first few years in the NBA. That
it shaped him.
Yeah, he overcome that. Like some players, you look at what we were saying, Joel Embiid against Toronto, putting up 0 getting beat in the playoffs, then coming back to Toronto this season, putting up 0 points. It's overcoming that mental block. Kobe, if he didn't have this member mentality that we all speak about, he could have airballed those 4 shots, and it could have really hurt his confidence, and he could have shot a lot less throughout his career.
Most players,
if anything, he did completely opposite. He passed less and shot more.
But most players, that moment would have broken them. Imagine if Markel Fultz did that. He'd be broken.
It's taken a good few years for Markel Fultz to come back.
Yeah, Kobe, fair play to him.
And I mean, that Mamba mentality dragged him to an 81-point game against Toronto, and he did miss a lot of shots, but to score 81
He
points,
shot over 50% from the field.
You have to shoot a lot.
But I was watching the full game on YouTube after his passing. I decided to watch it just to see how he got the points. And the first half of the game was atrocious. Every single player on the Lakers, they just played with no energy. And you could tell, coming out for the second half, Kobe, he completely switched his mentality. As soon as he got the ball in the second half, his mind was, I'm scoring. And he scored something like 60 points in the second half. And the Lakers at one point were down by about 20. And they ended up winning by almost 20. So Kobe dragged them. Meanwhile, having the second best scorer night in NBA history.
And his like nights like those, like dragging his team up. He was always like a leader for the Lakers. Lou Williams told a story about when they got blown out ironically against Toronto, and Kobe took away everybody's pair of Kobe shoes and said they're all too weak to have these shoes. I mean, when you're probably in that moment as a player and Kobe's come in, taken all your shoes off you, you're probably thinking, like, what the hell? What's this guy doing? Like, but looking back on it now, you probably think, fair enough. Like, they got blown out by Toronto.
And also, in the first half of that Toronto game, of the 81-point game, I remember it was towards the end of the second quarter where the Lakers conceded 15 points in a row or something like that. And the announcers were interviewing Chris Rock because he was sitting courtside. And they asked him, is Kobe the best player in the league? And he went, well, he's okay. He's kind of good. He's just on a really bad team. You got to look at Dwayne Wade or Steve Nash. They're all better than Kobe. And then second half, he comes out and drops 60 and a half. I'm sure Chris Rock, his opinion changed after that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you could just pass her off saying he was a joke, being a comedian.
Potentially.
I mean,
he did sound serious, though.
I mean, so many players have, like, great stories about Kobe as well. Like, obviously this was very recent, but Luka Doncic being from Slovenia, Kobe was sat courtside in a game, and he said that he heard somebody speaking in his native language behind him and turned around and Kobe was there. And just the shock of somebody actually, like, being in LA and somebody speaking your native language. Obviously it's not a common language to be speaking, Slovenian, but yeah, just stories like that. And Gallinari, when Gallinari got drafted into the NBA, he said he was in LA in a training camp, and he was watching Team America. He was watching Team America practice, and he said Kobe came over to him and started speaking Italian to him. And
he grew up in Italy.
Yeah, Kobe came over and was like saying like he watched him play basketball and he thinks he'll be a great player and everything. It's just stories like that. It felt like Kobe went the extra mile for like everybody in the NBA. Like, listen to Spencer Dinwiddie speak, and he was saying that Kobe told him that he was an all-star level player, and Dinwiddie's like, he doesn't need to make the all-star. Like, if he never makes the all-star game in his career now, he doesn't care because Kobe's told him, and that's worth more than getting votes from fans or getting picked by pundits.
But the most important one was his daughter. So how he was always, well, he was dedicated to help her make her dreams come true. Where they went to 3 games this season, 2 of them were Atlanta Hawks games. They're not a good team, but Trae Young was her favourite player. So Kobe would always take her to see him play, and her dream was to play for the University of Connecticut because they're the best women team, and Kobe would always take her to watch their games. And they had a nice tribute for her in their game the other day. But he was always willing to just do things to help people. And that's invaluable, really, because Dinwiddie, he's going to come out with a different mentality.
Well, Dinwiddie, like when Kyrie hadn't been playing, he was carrying that Nets team, kind of like how Kobe carried the Lakers many years. When they really didn't have much, Kobe was taking all the shots, putting up the points, and trying to like drag them through and getting wins. That's what Dinwiddie was doing on a pretty like average.
Not to the Kobe level.
No, not Kobe level, but
he was carrying it.
Similar to what like Trae Young was doing like last year at Atlanta, just like being the vocal point on a team and getting the points. So and you can just see like probably the best for Dinwiddie's career is if he leaves, gets away from Kyrie.
Yeah.
But
so as a tribute, every team in the league, they either took a 24-second violation or an 8-second violation as tribute to Kobe, because obviously that's his numbers.
Some teams did both, didn't they?
Yes, some teams both took 24 seconds, so it was a nice way to start out the game, and every tribute that I saw during those 24 or 8 seconds, the whole crowd was up chanting Kobe, Kobe.
And
so it was very touching.
Looking at some of the players, it was all like, very powerful. Like Doncic, just like he was in tears. Like a lot of the players.
One of the ones I liked was in Minnesota, where Andrew Wiggins placed the ball on the free throw line. Because that's where Kobe surpassed Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list. That was a nice touch.
Nice touch. Obviously, more tributes have happened. We were discussing this before. A lot of the players changing numbers. I was asking Owen when the news dropped that should every team or should the NBA retire the number 8 and 24 like all around the league so no team can use it. And then, well, as we were saying that, a lot of players started to retire the numbers for it. I think the first player was Spencer Dinwiddie. He gave up his number 8 jersey and switched to number 26. Then more players started coming out. Terrence Ross went back to 31 as he wore in Toronto. Jahlil Okafor changed from 8 to 9. Mason Plumlee changed from 24 to 7. Zaya Smith changed from 8 to 7, then to 5. Quinn Cook, he didn't wear any of Kobe's like numbers, but he combined the number 2, which was Gianna's number, and number 8, which was one of Kobe's numbers. So he now wears number 28. Alex Burks changed from 8 to 20. Markieff Morris changed from 8 to 88, which I'm surprised more players didn't do something like that. Kemba, who obviously in Charlotte wore number 15, now wears 8 in Boston, hasn't decided as of time of recording. And Elijah Johnson, the rookie for the Pacers, he is staying with 24. He said that he wears it to honor Kobe, which is I'm kind of undecided if I feel like they should retire the 8 and 24 like all round, or if they should allow players to make their own decision. Because I get if you're like doing it to honor Kobe, like if you want to do that, that's fair enough. But when the whole league is like kind of changing their numbers,
because Elijah Johnson announces like pretty soon, where at that point not many people changed their number.
I think he was getting
slewed on Twitter. But like, if he feels he wants to honor Kobe by wearing the number, then fair enough. Like it's your decision. You shouldn't get slewed for how you want to honor somebody's life. But yeah, as you said with retiring numbers, I don't think the NBA are gonna force teams to retire the number. It's gonna be on the teams. Like Dallas are already retired, or they're never gonna issue out number 8 and 24 again. Will more teams do it? Probably. I think
it's been a few days now. No teams have done it, so I don't know if any more teams will do it. But
But with Philly, they might even retire number 33, because that's the number he wore when he played in Philadelphia in high school for Lower Merion. So I don't know. It might be done.
Obviously, Joel Embiid wore the number 24, which is a retired number in Philadelphia, and he contacted
Bobby Jones,
who wore number 24 in his time at Philadelphia, and he was more than happy for Joel to wear the number 24 for one game, and coming back from injury 2 weeks early as well.
Yeah.
Putting up 24 points, shouting Kobe on the 24th point on a step back, like turn away jumper from mid-range, a classic Kobe shot.
Embiid was never going to miss this game. When it was announced that he was playing, we were all like, this is way too early. He shouldn't be back yet. But he came back, as you said, scored that 24th point on a fadeaway, yelling Kobe. He got fouled, so he went to the free throw line, and he intentionally missed his free throw.
Like Kobe in that playoff game.
And then he subbed himself out because he wanted to end with 24 points in honour of Kobe, which, big respect.
A very nice
gesture.
A very nice gesture. More tributes. A lot of people have been calling for the NBA to change the logo to have Kobe as the logo instead of
Jerry West. You need to educate yourself.
No. And one of the pages where you can sign the petition has, at the current time of recording, around 3 million votes. Now, I don't think they'll do it.
It's too much of a radical change to change. It completely changes the brand identity of the NBA. But I like the idea. If they did it, I wouldn't mind.
I feel like they might do it for like the All-Star break. If they do something like that for the All-Star break, it'd be nice. Or like make some sort of logo for the All-Star break, including Kobe Bryant. I think that would be good. But as changing the entire logo, they won't do it. And I think they're right not to do it. Because when Michael Jordan inevitably passes away, are they going to change it from Kobe to Jordan then? The same when LeBron...
Yeah, but I feel like this is more of like a tragic situation.
Yeah, I understand
that
it's tragic, and I get that, but it'd be such a overhaul of the company and the brand, like worldwide. I feel like they won't do it, and I understand why it's not.
One thing I think they should do is name an award after him.
Yes.
And I saw on Twitter someone suggested naming the Most Improved Player of the Year award after Kobe, the Kobe Bryant award, because at the end of the day,
the Mamba Mentality award.
Because the only way you win the Most Improved Player is by working hard and showing that dedication to improve your game, which is, after all, that's what Kobe did. After he missed them shot them 4 A-balls, that's what he did all summer. So I feel that would be a nice way to honour Kobe.
I was saying maybe they could have given they have like the Best Teammate award, but I mean Kobe didn't really pass the ball, did he? So maybe not.
Maybe they should have an award on who passed the ball less in the year.
Who took the most bad shots? The Russell Westbrook award. No, Russell Westbrook was a changed man now. He's a good man. But looking back at Kobe's career, where it all ended, the game against Utah, his last game in the NBA, his last game in the Staples Center, he missed his first 5 shots, but then went on to put up 60 points. I mean, I think we're not the only ones in the world that watched that game recently back.
Crazy game. I remember Shaq was saying before the game he told him to go get 50, and I thought at the time I was thinking, you're crazy. He's an old man. He's not gonna get anywhere near 50.
I was thinking go get 80 again.
I was thinking get 24 points. That'd be a nice way to end it.
That ain't Mamba mentality. But just watching that game back, and it was like he would get the ball, somebody would rebound it, or they would inbound it to Kobe. He would run the court and he would just jump and shoot. So many bad shots, but so many of them fell, and that's just.
And they won the game.
Yeah,
Kobe dragged them to victory that game where he had so many big shots.
That final quarter was massive.
He had so many big shots.
The comeback was very good, and it just shows you like why he is like recognized and considered one of the best scorers of all time. Just to do what he did at the stage of his career as well, shown in the last game of the last of a game of his career, he could still put up 60 points against a decent Utah team.
That same night, the Warriors played, and it was the game where they clinched the 73 wins and broke the record. So again, that's some history right there. But nobody was watching that game. Everyone was busy watching Kobe. So the fact that he was more important. Just a Kobe game was more important than seeing history with the Warriors. Again, speaks volumes of his reach and truly what people care about. Kobe.
So looking at what he achieved over his career, obviously the career high of 81 points, he got 5 NBA rings, only 1 MVP, which
I don't like that.
If you think like Steph Curry has 2, LeBron,
Steve Nash has 2.
Yeah, like there's a lot of players that, I mean, Russ, he has the same amount as Russ. And KD and Russ both have 1. I mean, with KD, fair enough, but
Russ.
Bit of a snake. But Russ and Kobe have the same amount of MVPs, and that doesn't sit right with me. And I'm like the biggest fanboy of Russ.
What about he has the same amount as Harden?
I'm wearing a Jamorant jersey.
He has the same amount as Harden.
That annoys me.
Yeah,
that annoys me deeply. If Harden wins another one, livid, because people will think he's a better scorer than Kobe. Not a chance. 11 times he was in the All-NBA first team. 18 times he appeared in the All-Star game, and I mean, this is all very recent, but he was 3rd on the all-time point scorers with 33,643 points. But LeBron James overtook him the day before his tragic passing. And yeah, the tweet he put out was kind of like a passing on the baton to Kobe, to LeBron. Kobe was passing on the I don't want to say like
the Laker tradition.
Yeah, I don't want to say the GOAT, because I don't see Kobe as greatest of all time, where like I would say LeBron is.
It was he was handing over the keys to the Lakers, to Kobe.
Keys of the city.
Yeah.
To quote a famous Nipsey Hussle song, who was also a LLA man.
So, during Kobe's championship runs, he never did it on his own. First three, he had Shaquille O'Neal by his side. Arguably the most dominant duo in NBA history.
Probably the best centre of all time.
Yeah, probably. It's sad it ended the way it did, because if they stuck together, as Shaq said, they could have won 10 rings.
Could have won 10.
They were unstoppable, but they had their beef. And they've only recently gotten over that beef, so that ended their...
But I bet Shaq is very happy that they got over it sooner than later, because if they wouldn't have squashed the beef, I feel like Shaq would be feeling a lot worse than he obviously is right now.
So they traded Shaq to Miami, where he won a ring with Dwayne Wade, and the Lakers were awful during that time. They had Kwame Brown starting from. That just shows how bad they were. But then they traded for Pau Gasol, and everything changed. They fleeced Memphis into getting Pau Gasol, and they won 2 rings. And again, of this century, that's again one of the best duos the NBA has seen. We can't forget about the Kobe and Jordan Clarkson duo.
Very common for a Gasol brother to move to a team and win a ring.
Yeah, nice callback from you there.
Mark going to Toronto last year, obviously. And yeah.
Proud of that one.
Yeah. I was trying to word it, then you jumped in with Jordan Clarkson. So that is the life of Kobe Bryant summed up very quickly. I'd say very quickly, that was like a good 40 minutes of us talking about Kobe Bryant. But we put a tweet out on Twitter. I won't plug the Twitter, it's not the right time. I couldn't think of the right caption to put. I didn't know what to say, so, but I came up with... I didn't come up with it. People have said it before me. I'm not an innovator. I just put legacy never dies, and that's probably the best way I could see fit to sum up Kobe.
Well, people will never forget Kobe.
No.
You know, this generation, if they have kids, they're going to grow up and say, listen kid, let me tell you a story of Kobe Bryant.
I keep seeing like pictures is like you're like 50 and you throw something in the bin yelling Kobe, and your son's like, what did you just say? And he's like,
let me tell you a story.
Let me tell you this story about this one man.
But it's true though. As we say, this my computer battery's down to 24%.
And we're almost at 24 minutes past 3. It's all coming together.
I miss you.
But resuming some normality of the podcast, Owen, what has it been like being a Philadelphia 76ers fan for this past week?
It's been a weird week because I haven't really cared about basketball over the past couple of days. But going back to the Sixers games, we won 2 out of the 2 games we played. So perfect. Beat the Lakers. Obviously the night before Kobe and the night LeBron broke his record. We dismantled them. And then obviously our last game against the Warriors with Embiid wearing 24. He dropped 24 points in honour of Kobe, which was a very fitting way to honour the legend. But yeah, it's been a decent week.
Very, not surprising, but there's not many times on this podcast where we've sat down and you've said it's been a good week.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, very commonly you lose. You never usually, except the first 5 games where you're unbeaten.
We normally have a bad game or 2, but we beat the Lakers without Embiid, which is massive.
And as an OKC fan, it's been like pretty normal over the past 7 games. We've won 6 games. We've won 6 out of 7. We've only lost to Dallas. I mean, in the past week we blew out Atlanta very easily. I mean, 140 points win over Atlanta. Nothing really to be excited about. It was Atlanta. It's a pretty straightforward win. We then very easily again. Oh, saying that, it was only a 9-point win against Minnesota, but again, nothing really to get too excited about. We lost to Dallas then. I mean, it was expected. They're a good team. We did that was the day. That was the day after the news about Kobe came out, because Chris Paul didn't play that game. And I mean, even with Chris Paul, it's an expected defeat. And then last night, we beat Sacramento by 20. Nice easy win. And Legret's Dort, one of my favourite players at the moment, dropped 23. A lovely career high.
I know talent when I see it.
I mean, yeah.
I knew he was going to be a good player.
I feel like every time we talk about Dort, you're going to mention that
I'm going to bring her up.
You said that he would be a star.
Well, I didn't say star, I said a good player.
No, I said star. After he started playing like a star. But it's crazy to think, at the start of this season, I photoshopped a picture of the top 4 prospects of the draft next year with a tank, thinking we would tank, and we're currently on 29 wins, the same amount as Dallas and Houston, and we're comfortably in the 7th seed. I never thought that we'd be at this stage. No, you didn't.
I said they can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you didn't believe me.
Yeah, you said we could make the playoffs. You didn't say we would have 30 or 29. We'd be 29 and 20 at this stage. You didn't think you thought. I even said maybe if everything works out, we could slide into the playoffs. I didn't think we'd be comfortably in the playoffs, and we are, and it's good. It's good fun to watch. I did say last week, and we had a favourable run in, and I feel like we could win them all. Denver was the only tricky one. We did lose to Denver, but I mean, 6 wins out of 7. It's a pretty good run in we've had. Now, some just generic basketball news that's happened. Victor Oladipo's back. He missed after 82 games out.
That's where he missed it.
He missed 82 games, and he's back. I mean, he only put up 9 points, and he shot pretty inefficiently. But after the game, he did say he was playing like Kobe. He said he said he was just shooting anything, which you could see by the stats. He did take a lot of shots and missed a lot. But he hit the game-winning 3.
They won by 9.
Yeah, but he hit a clutch 3 near the end to put them ahead. So I mean, we came up big, like Kobe often did. But nobody expected him to go and drop 30 on his first game after missing a whole season.
He's going to be on minute restrictions for a long time.
Yeah, but it's good to see him back. A player that struggled a lot with injuries. Obviously, in his time at OKC, he struggled with injuries, and he's a good player. I'm a fan. He makes decent music. I'm happy to see him back. There was a fight in New York. We forgot to mention last week that the fight in Kansas, it was Kansas against Kansas State. Yes, I remembered. In college.
Yep.
Kansas State were down by...
Do you want me to just explain?
No, I know, it's fine. Kansas State were down by about 20, and obviously it was at the end of the game. Everybody, it's like the untold rule in the NBA. When the game's done, they just walk up into the course. They don't break any violations, and then the game's over. You all shake hands. It's all nice. But some guy on the other team decided to steal the ball, try and go for an easy layup. He got blocked out of the arena, and then it all kicked off. Every man and his dog went in for the fight.
Someone even grabbed a stool.
Yeah, one of the players who is supposed to be
Silvio De Souza.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good, NBA bound in the future.
Maybe second round prospect, not very good.
Picked up a stool and decided he didn't hit anybody, luckily.
But he's been banned for 12 games.
Yeah. But yeah, there was intent. There was intent here. He picked up a stool and put it. It's like an iconic photo. Like we've got Iverson stepping. You got another Philly one where like everybody's like kneeling down like to see, and then we've got big man with the stool over his head. I mean, that was wild. Not as wild the little scuffle in New York last night as Memphis took on the Clippers. No, not the Clippers. As Memphis took on the Knicks. Yeah, so Memphis were up by 20 at the time, which makes this all the lot stranger, since the Knicks had possession. They roll it on the floor to inbound it. There was 40 seconds left, so obviously they would have to take a shot or everything because they want there's still shot clock to be played. But they inbound it to Alfred Payton, lets it roll on the floor for a little bit. Jay Crowder steals the ball. They're up by 20, goes in the corner, tries to shoot a step back 3. Alfred Payton just pushes him on into the crowd. There wasn't much of a crowd there. They were down by 20. Yeah. He didn't push him into anybody. There was nobody in the seating because it was a Knicks game. And then Jay Crowder got straight back up instead of maybe just being like, what are you doing? He just went to attack Alfred Payton, and then luckily, not luckily. I mean, nobody from either bench got involved, which obviously could be a problem, and it'll kick off if it does. But the Memphis head coach, he decided to run onto the court and push Julius Randle. Now, Randle wasn't doing anything. There was a big pile of players, like, scuffling. Julius Randle was at the back of the pack, not doing anything. The coach pushes Julius Randle. Randle just stares him down, one-handed, pushes him back as two bodyguards just attack Randle. It was just very strange. I don't know why the Memphis coach decided to go for Julius Randle, but yeah, little scuffle. Jay Crowder shouldn't have stole the ball to shoot the three.
Yeah, he was uncalled for it. I don't know why.
I don't know why he did it, especially when they were up by 20.
It was a good push, though.
He missed the shot. Excellent push from small man Payton.
Yeah.
He's only 6 foot, getting a good push on there. But I quite like Jay Crowder, but it made me think less of him for doing that. It's like, why? There's 40 seconds left. You're up by 20, and you've randomly stolen the ball.
Maybe something happened during the game that we don't know about, but it just seemed a bit immature. Really.
I haven't got time to watch a whole Knicks game.
I'm not going to watch a Knicks game.
But Gianna was playing. I am currently wearing a Memphis jersey. Maybe I do have time to watch a Memphis game. I don't know. I'm conflicted. But obviously, we were saying about players like tributes to Kobe, and they're not official tributes, but a lot of players put in Kobe-like performances. Chris Middleton dropped 51 points, his career high. I mean, Giannis didn't play. He was given the full reins to score the baskets, put the ball in the basket, and he did it. He took his chances with two hands, and he let the threes fly. I didn't think he made that many threes, to be honest.
Yeah, he was pretty good, like 5 or 7.
Yeah, but he didn't make loads. I thought, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Middleton had a very good game. Obviously, they won because they don't lose many games, even without Giannis playing. Bradley Beal also put 40 and 47 in the past week. I mean, we slated him last week, saying that he's overrated and should be doing better than he currently is. I mean, he kind of proved you wrong a little. Buddy Hield, after being like kind of dropped to the bench, but it's kind of not being dropped to the bench.
He's still getting starting minutes.
In the NBA, when you get dropped down to the bench, it's kind of not disrespectful, but it kind of is, because it's kind of like you're not good enough to play against the starting five, so we'll put you in against the bench lot so you can put up points. But it worked very nicely for Buddy Hield, since he dropped 42 points off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
His career high, proving that you don't need to be a starter to be a baller.
Also, with Buddy Hield, wears number 24, and Kobe, like Embiid, was the reason the only reason he started playing basketball. So it's nice when you flip around 42. Yeah, when you flip around 42, it's 24. And Buddy said that in his interview, he wanted to stop scoring after that. So
he was just too good to get 24. He needed to get 42.
Yeah, he wanted to get 42. So it was a nice tribute to his favourite player.
Another player that usually is known for getting points off the bench, but started in this game, so defeats that point, really. Eric Gordon, he put up 50, his career high. I mean, a lot of Mamba mentality being shown, which is lovely to see. Trae Young does what Trae Young does, put up 45, and Dame's been averaging about 55 points a game over the past 5 games, but he put up 50 points as well. So, scoring-wise, whereas not like in terms of on the court, things been happening, not much, but personal performances-wise and what the boys have been doing, a lot of players having their own personal tribute, which is lovely to see. I feel
this was expected as well. We all kind of knew people were going to go out there and score. So yeah, no surprise, especially with scorers like Beal and Buddy Hield and Trae and Dame. They were always going to put up big points, apart from Kyrie.
You just leave that in there and just slewing. You can't go an episode without being mean to poor Kyrie Irving. I think
he's a broken man.
I think he's got enough on his mind.
Yeah, I take that back.
Yeah,
I'll leave it for next week.
So, like every week, like all the time, team of the week. So, we'll do what we usually do. We'll name our guards, go back and forth, and. Mm-hmm. So, guards, I went Dame Lillard and Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, so I also went for Dame because he's been insane. And also went for Bradley Beal.
I mean, fair enough, Bradley Beal put up 40 and 47.
And 38 and 36 before Kobe.
And then Dame has done 47, 50, 36, 44. No, he's having...
What?
47, 50 and 36.
And he had a triple-double the other day.
Yeah, not
That's
something that
massive.
you see Big Dame doing very often.
No.
But yeah, I put Dennis Schroeder in there because we've won 6 of our last 7. I know it's not a week, but we've won 3 of our last 4 in the week. And, I mean, he's shooting 63% from 3-point. So, he's in my team. Forwards, we've both gone Chris Middleton. But I've also gone DeMar DeRozan. You've gone Ben Simmons.
I've gone for Ben Simmons.
Sorry, I just took that away from you.
You did take that away from me.
Sorry.
But don't do Middleton first. I mainly chose him because of the 50-point game.
10 rebounds as well. You can't forget about the 10 rebounds. Doing work on both glasses.
Yeah. And with Simmons, maybe he's a little bit cheating. But when Embiid has been out, he's been playing more power forward, I guess. So
suppose he can play any position.
He could literally.
Shooting
he
guard.
does play any position apart from shooting guard, yeah. But yeah, he's been really good in the game against the Lakers, against LeBron, against one of the best teams in the league. He put up 28-10, 8 assists and 4 steals. So he led us to victory that game. And hopefully we see more of that with Embiid in the lineup. Right? Well, in his most recent game, he did look a bit lost with Embiid. So that's a bit concerning.
Might have to trade Embiid.
No, not yet. No, I'm going to give it 2 more years.
And I went to DeMar DeRozan because he's been putting up a lot of points recently, and he's been doing it efficiently, shooting 54% from field goal. I mean, there's one man there that you slewed earlier in the season for not shooting any threes.
I don't think it was slewing him.
You slewed him. You slewed him. Come on, you slewed him.
He does what he's good at. He doesn't, like Ben, he knows what he's good at and he sticks to it. In the mid-range, I was watching a video on Twitter, and they were saying he's one of the best mid-range players of all time. And that's
better
true.
than Kobe.
He's up there with Kobe. Like, you watch his footwork and his fadeaways, it is literally Kobe. So, DeMar loved Kobe. You saw before the game how upset he was, and he's really channeling his inner Mamba mentality.
I mean, if you're good at one thing, why don't you put all your eggs in that basket and try and make that the best thing you can? That's what DeMar DeRozan's been doing. Instead of trying to do it all, he's doing that one thing. And final player to go in the team, I've gone Domantas Sabonis.
And I went for Joel Embiid.
I mean, he played one game.
Right, let me explain. I already explained earlier. He was meant to be back in about 2 weeks. He came back early to respect Kobe. Wore number 24, and he dropped 24 points. And led us to victory again. So, for me, I gotta respect my guy. And that's good enough for me.
So I went for Sabonis, like I said. In the past 4 games, he's put up 20 points, shooting 55% from field goal, 12 rebounds and 7 assists. He's got 3 double-doubles and 1 triple-double in that time. I mean, he's a player playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. And like we said last week about Miles Turner not being amazing, this man is being amazing.
But will this continue with Oladipo coming back?
Let's hope so. I mean, they played together at OKC, so they've got that chemistry, a bit like Schroeder and Nerlens Noel. Player of the week. It's the same as team of the week, but we only choose 2 players from their respective conferences. I mean, if you don't know what team the player of the week means, then
You should know what that means by now.
suppose you got this far. So yeah, player of the week. Owen, who'd you pick?
I chose Simmons and Damian Lillard.
Fair enough.
Obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've spoke about the reasons. I went Dame as well, but Domantas Sabonis because he's just better than Ben Simmons.
Fair enough.
Yep. Gets more triple doubles.
That's not true.
That's not correct at all. And that's everything done. Thanks for listening to this episode. This more somber episode. A bit of a somber beginning. We kind of got through the whole beginning. Hopefully next week will be happier and hopefully nice things happen over this next period of a week, and we can get back. We've skipped episode 23, so we'll go straight to 25 next week, and we'll just pretend like 23 didn't happen. So thanks for listening, everybody. Follow us on everything. Bye.